So we've all seen this, right? Share scooters carelessly dumped on the sidewalk. And this is a good day at the office for most hire scooters. On a less than good day, they will likely be stripped for parts, dumpstered, thrown in a river, or torched. But the question we should ask is not, why is this happening? But why did we expect anything else? Imagine if, when the first iPhone was invented, Apple decided the best way to create a market for its disruptive technology was to dump thousands of phones on the streets of New York and tell people they could hire them by the minute. And when they finished, they could just drop the phone on the sidewalk and stroll away. If they had done that on some, say, random Wednesday afternoon, how many working phones would you have expected them to find by 9 AM the next morning? Now, I know an iPhone is smaller and lighter than an e-scooter, but a scooter is still light enough for an average adult to pick up. Its small mass and size give the scooter an advantage when it comes to city commuting, but it also makes it easy to steal, vandalise or dump. Scooter hire companies did allow for some loss and damage in their business plans, but they expected the average life of a scooter to be 6 months. In reality, it's more like 28 days. So these companies have a fundamentally flawed business model, which is why most of them are unprofitable and burning cash. Whether you feel sympathy for the hire companies or not, we should all be concerned about the massive waste of resources that is occurring on a planet that is fast being depleted of all its resources. At this point, it would be easy to write off the whole e-scooter thing as a bad idea. Unless, of course, you're one of those foolish venture capitalists that lent money to a scooter startup. But the concept of micromobility is not itself flawed, just the way it's been delivered. What if people own the scooter instead of hiring it? Just like they own their iPhone or Android. After all, the cost is about the same. A founding goal of the hire companies was to make e-scooters ubiquitous, so that wherever you were in the city, you could find one just meters away. A noble ambition, sure, but you can achieve the same thing by making the scooter portable and collapsible so that the owner can carry it with them wherever they go. Many leading manufacturers have realized this and factored it into their designs. A classic example is the Gleon scooter shown here. These cleverly designed machines are well suited to first and last mile travel. They can be easily folded and carried onto a train, tram or bus. So here are just some of the reasons to own your scooter instead of hiring it. Firstly, choice. There are literally hundreds of models available to buy and almost certainly one to suit every rider and every commuting situation. So why be limited to what the hire companies have to offer? Then there's the hygiene factor. You always know where your scooter and helmet have been and who has handled them. Your scooter is always charged. You know when it was last charged and how much power is left in the battery. It's always available. You don't need to wait in line for access to your own scooter. It's way cheaper than driving your car to work, saving you as much as $10,000 each year. There's no time charge. Sit at the cafe as long as you like with your folded scooter tucked underneath your chair. There's no surveillance. No one is watching where you're going or when. You can pimp your ride. Make it as individual as you are. After 3 months, it's cheaper than hiring. This is an important, though not well understood fact, so let's just take a minute to look at the numbers. An average commuter would save $175 a month by not hiring, and based on the average purchase price of a new scooter, it would take about 3 months to recover the cost. Okay, so we have seen there are many good reasons to own rather than hire a scooter. But what are the cons? To be honest, I wouldn't want to be standing on this side of the debate. There are so few arguments against ownership. Firstly, you need to have space to store your e-scooter. However, the models available for purchase are all capable of being folded and stowed in a broom cupboard or under a desk, so this is really not an issue. You need to think about security. As discussed, the lightness of scooters makes them easy to steal. Some models have immobilization switches, but it is also wise to invest in a suitable lock or chain, similar to those used to secure bicycles. And lastly, some investment in personal protective equipment is required, particularly a helmet. Well, I hope you can see why owning an electric scooter is better than hiring one. Now imagine a time where scooter ownership rivals cell phone ownership. Of course, for that to happen, we will need roads with dedicated micro-mobility lanes, but that can be achieved by repurposing car lanes. One day, I'm sure we'll look back and ask, did we really use a 2-ton machine to carry us to work each day? Just imagine.